Hello, it's, been a while. In my defense, 7 months is short in the grand scheme of things. It's complicated. I was gonna make a pizza tower tier list, which didn't pan out. But now I'm getting off my lazy butt to make a different video. I'll make the tier list eventually. If you read the title of the video, I think you should know that this background and music isn't very fitting. So let's change that. With that being said, this video is heavily inspired by Cybershell. You know, the exclusively Sonic guy? Well, his Mario RPG video he put out a few months back inspired me to do something similar for Bug Fables. Let's start off with stuff you can find in the files, because there is quite a bit of interesting things to find. As an example, the Watcher's sprite sheet is interesting. As you can probably see, half of the Watcher's sprite sheet is dedicated to other things, like the roaches, Elder Roach, and even Leaf as a cordyceps. I don't know what the implications of this are, if any, but it's certainly interesting. It even has the monitors of Venus in the secret room in Upper Snake Mouth. Speaking of which, those monitors have very interesting implications. As not only does it show other plant gods, but also imply that they were created by the roaches. Not only this, but it's also really confusing. If you caught it earlier on the sprite sheet, you saw a similar looking monitor with Leaf on it. Well, every once in a while, for a single frame, a monitor flashes a picture of Leaf. Leaf was, spoiler alert, killed by the spider in Snakemouth. For there to be a spider, you'd imagine the roaches have already been killed and Snakemouth abandoned. However, somebody still had the time to program a monitor with a picture of Leaf after the cordyceps possessed him, which doesn't add up. Then again, that also leaves little time for the cordyceps to possess Leaf, so I could very easily be mistaken. It's definitely interesting, and has a lot of interesting implications for a room that's completely missable. Moving away from deep lore, here's the underling sprite sheet. Notice anything off? I have absolutely zero clue why this is in the files, but it's goofy silly, so I thought I'd include it. I promise not all of these will be stuff in the sprite sheets, but in the Termicade sprite sheet there are odd symbols at the bottom left. According to the cutting room floor, this was part of a scrapped Mario Party-esque minigame, which would have been really cool. Moving on to a secret found in, the actual game, there's a lot of info in regards to the Wasp King's backstory that is pretty obscure, even if you're doing a 100% playthrough. If you talk to Yale on Metal Island, and buy out all his stuff, he has this to say. Yale is talking about the Wasp King, and says he's a fly here because that's what the Wasp King is. Quick biology lesson, Aconopody is a type of fly that holds an endoparasitic relationship with Aculeate Hymenoptera. Got any of that? No? I didn't either. Aconopody is the species of fly the Wasp King is, and not only do they look similar to bees or wasps, but are also parasitic in their regard. So Yale's dialogue not only gives us that information, which isn't normally in the game, but it also tells us how the Wasp King got his crown. But wait, there's more. The bestiary also gives us more info about the Wasp King. It's interesting that all that info was practically scrubbed from the game. I wonder why that happened. Or, that's what I would say if I hadn't done some research. In an interview with one of the game's developers, Genow, that I'll link in the description, he had this to say.
So the art book has a comic at the end, which is the backstory of the final boss, like before the events of Bug Fables. I actually wanted some way to put that in the game. Like maybe a crystal will like teleport you into a flashback, but it just didn't. Since Bug Fables it just didn't feel right, so we just didn't do it.
I would talk more about the backstory details in the comic, but I don't currently own the art book, so that's all I have to say on that. Okay, going back into the game files, there's some extra text in the spy logs that acknowledge hackers. For example, Maki has spy data stating, if you can access this data, you're one of them hackers. Good job finding this. At Betattle, at Beetletattle, at Mothtattle. There's similar stuff like this strewn about, like the spy data for the web holding Leaf, which says, you can stop now. at Betattle at Beetle Tattle at Moth Tattle. The one that's different is for the Wasp King, which says, no one cared who he was until he put on the crown, at Betattle at Beetle Tattle at Moth Tattle. Unfortunately, that's pretty much all I could find. Short I know, but if there are tons of neat and obscure secrets, they aren't very well documented. Then again, they're obscure, but still. Anyways, remember to check if you're subscribed so you can unsubscribe, smash that dislike button, and have a fantastic day.